Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sneha, I'm a freelance makeup artist based in London, and today we're going to be testing out the Hydro Grip Primer by MilkMakeup. It is by far not a new product, but in case you're interested in a review on an oily skin type and to see how it fares over the entire day, then please keep on watching. Now, in all honesty, this was sent to me by MilkMakeup, but this is in no way a sponsored video. I was just gifted this in exchange for a review. But my review of the product is going to be unbiased and just purely based on the performance of the product. So that being said, let's get started. So this is what the packaging looks like, and I'll insert some close-up clips on the screen right now. It does come with a pump, which is fantastic. It contains 45 ml or 1.52 fluid ounce of product in here. So I've already prepped my skin here. At this stage, I've applied my moisturizer and also my sunscreen. And I'm going to be using the Hydro Grip Primer on the right side of my face. So I'm going to take one pump of this on the back of my hand and apply from there, starting from the center of my face, applying some on my nose, blending it out towards my cheek. It just feels very cooling and hydrating at this stage. And just blending out the product on my cheek, adding more when I need more. Moving on to my chin, upper lip area, and then lastly on my forehead. What I did notice is that as I'm blending this primer over my sunscreen, I can see that not the white cast, but the sunscreen, which was white in color, is kind of coming off. But at the same time, when I'm blending this primer in, that kind of eventually disappears. So I guess the sunscreen is moving, but at the same time gets back on the skin. I'm not sure, but that is just something to note. And as per instructions, I'm going to leave the primer on for a minute before it's ready for foundation. So I'm back after a minute, and this is what my skin looks like. So definitely the side that got the primer looks much more hydrated and glowy. And then if I were to touch my face, it is kind of sticky. For foundation, I'm going to be using a water-based foundation because this primer is water-based. So I'm using the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. I'm mixing two shades, 4 Warm Olive and 3 Warm Olive. Then first applying it to the half where I do not have the primer, and it's going on beautifully. And then moving on to the side which had the primer, I can immediately notice the difference that the brush is not gliding on as easily. It is actually, I think the primer is actually gripping onto the foundation, which is a good thing, I guess, in the long run. So I'm just dabbing and patting more than doing more of a buffing motion on this side. But the foundation did spread equally well on both sides of my face. And this is what it looks like at the end of the application. Again, at this stage, I can just notice that the foundation on the right side of my face, which had the primer, does look a little bit more glowy than the left half of my face. Hopefully that translates on screen as well. But otherwise, at this stage, I do not see any difference. I'm just going to quickly go walk my dog and then come back and do a check-in around the 5-hour mark. So this is what my skin looks like 5 hours since application. And if I come closer, you can see that my T-zone has produced oils, but the periphery of the cheeks are still looking relatively normal. So this is the side which did not have any primer underneath. My bronzer, foundation, concealer, everything is still intact. This is the other side which got the primer underneath. Again, my bronzer, foundation, concealer, everything seems to be intact. In terms of the oil produced, I feel like it's similar on both sides. So at this stage, I'm just going to quickly blot the excess oil and see if there's any difference between the two halves. So I'm going to be using the DHC blotting sheets, 2 of them, one for each half of my face. So overall, I think it's very similar at this stage anyway. Okay, 2 blotting sheets later, this is what my face looks like. Everything looks like it's been just freshly applied. So this is the side without primer. This is the side with primer. Just going to have a closer look in the mirror to see if there's any noticeable difference in person. So at this stage, the two halves of my face look pretty similar, but I will be checking back in at the end of the day. So this is the 9-hour mark since I've applied the foundation, and this is what my skin looks like. Again, the right side of my face got the Milk primer underneath the foundation. So on this side of my face, although the T-zone is quite oily, I feel like the periphery of my cheek is still quite normal. Whereas on this half of my face, hopefully translates on camera as well, I feel like my entire face has a glow to it. It's not as matte, I would say, at least the periphery compared to the other side. And that is something I noticed even upon application, that the side of my face which received the primer was looking more hydrated and glowy. Now that can be very beneficial for someone with a normal to drier skin type, but that's not something in particular that I look for from a primer, having combination to oily skin type. But when I look at my T-zone, I feel both sides have pretty much produced similar amounts of oil, similar to the check-in at 5 hours. So I'm just going to quickly blot my entire face using the same blotting sheets. So this is the face after blotting. No primer versus the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. Honestly, I really don't see any significant difference between the two sides, other than the fact that the side which had the primer, my skin looked a little bit more hydrated and glowy. But otherwise, I would say the foundation, I don't know if the foundation is really nice and long wearing, that it has performed really well just on its own, which is the Dior Backstage Face and Body. So at least with the combination of products that I have used today, which is the Tatcha water cream as my moisturizer, La Roche-Posay as my sunscreen, and the Dior Backstage Foundation, Face and Body, at least with these products in mind, the Milk Hydro Grip Primer did not seem to significantly improve the wear time, if that makes sense. So overall, I do think that this primer may work for other skin types, say for example normal to drier skin types, but on my combination to oily skin type, I didn't see any improved lasting power, I guess, with my makeup, at least with the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. If you enjoy these kind of reviews, please give this video a like and also consider subscribing to my channel. But thank you so much for watching. If you stayed this long, thank you so much, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye!